I hope you're having a wonderful day. We are here today to talk about sustainable travel, and I have 5 areas to cover. We'll cover them pretty quickly, and as always, you can message on the post following this live video, or give me a call, give me a ring, and ask any specific questions that you might have about what I am covering. But I really want to emphasize that one of the biggest benefits of travel is supporting local communities that you're traveling to. And that helps with jobs, that helps with the economy, that helps with a lot of different things. So, my number one tip for sustainable travel is to support those local economies when you are in those areas. When you are traveling, you will have access to a lot of things that are created specifically for the tours and the companies that you might be moving through. Eating at local restaurants, having a shopping trip to local shopping locations within the location you're visiting, all of those things help support the local community. And most major tour operators and cruise lines utilize local providers for the tours and excursions they offer when you're in port cities. So keep that in mind and try and use the suppliers they've identified. It's both a safety benefit and supports the local economy with jobs related to the tourism industry. So tip number 2 really has to do with reusable products. And I'm a big fan of telling people to travel with a reusable straw if you are a straw person. More and more organizations are moving to products that will break down easier. So those paper straws, if you are like me, you hate those paper straws. Those paper straws, if you were in a hot and humid climate, will melt down and be a mushy mess in less than a minute. But taking with you a reusable straw, you can get them with little carriers, and you can get them with those brushes to actually clean them thoroughly to make sure that you're not bringing any germs back with you. Are always helpful. You can also utilize reusable utensils, a reusable water bottle that you're going to fill with safe water. Make sure you're putting water in your water bottle from those that are going to be considered potable water sources, just to maintain your safety. But reusable products that you can use, and just eliminate those single-use plastics that might be out there. Third point is eco-friendly accommodations. So a number of larger suppliers are now providing different ways in which they are saving utilities. This might be offering to not change out your towels at a hotel every day when they come in to do house cleaning services. So if you need new towels, you will typically leave them in the tub on the floor. And if you want to reuse those towels, you will put them up on the towel rack and they will leave those towels for you. So that is one way. You may see companies that are very specific about electric uses. So cruise lines have become very adept at requiring your key card to be entered into a little placard inside your stateroom to ensure that minimal utility usage in your room is happening when you are not physically in your room. So when you come into your room, if you want the lights to work in your room, you need to enter your key card into this little placard, and that will enable all of the lights to work. That will enable the AC and heat to work to certain levels. That will work without those cards to levels the cruise line has set for those respectable areas to manage utility costs. Respecting wildlife and nature. So first and foremost, even if you are not traveling, please do not litter. If you are out on trails, if you are out at parks, just take your trash with you. Bring something. If you are carrying something that will be thrown out, bring something with you that you can put that in and throw it out in a proper receptacle. But most importantly, don't feed wildlife unless you have worked with a park ranger, worked with a zookeeper, and you are using the foods that that animal should be eating. Just don't feed random wildlife. Be careful with the wildlife. Wildlife is wildlife. You don't want to have an unfortunate incident with animals. They can turn. So just abide by safety distancing and managing the wildlife, and don't ever, ever harm the animals that are out there. The last one I want to talk about is offsetting your carbon footprint. So everything I've talked about to this point allows you to really focus on maintaining the local areas that you are in. Your carbon footprint overall, when you are traveling on an airline, you are using that fuel. If you are on a cruise ship, the newest ships are actually changing the fuels that they use to be more clean and eco-friendly. Pay attention to your suppliers. Are there things you can do? Are there things those suppliers are doing, and can you choose those suppliers that are actually more eco-friendly? A number of cruise lines are actually using compostable materials within their cruise ships. So your food waste doesn't go to waste, it actually gets composted, turned around, and can be used to actually give nourishment to some of the plants that are on board in the planters through compost and other different sources. So just keep everything in mind. Things you would do at home, you want to try and do when you're out in the local community. Stay to approved areas when you're in locations. Don't wander past markings that national parks, tour operators, your trails. Don't walk into areas they have designated as not passing into. This can be both a safety issue as well as you actually could be modifying that local environment unintentionally. So, lots of eco-friendly tips out there. If you want more tips and tricks, drop me a message. And if you have any questions on what I talked about, I'd love